Hello and welcome to another episode of Piano TV. So today's video is one that was requested. It is a simplified tutorial and piano arrangement of Chopin's Etude Winter Wind. So this is his Etude Opus 25 number 11, and the original version is like wildly difficult. We actually talked about it in the last video when we were talking about the easiest and most difficult Chopin songs. So this is definitely it's not even one of the most difficult Chopin songs. It's like one of the most difficult songs of all time on the piano. So sometimes it's fun to be able to play a song before you can play it. So my arrangement here today, that the sheet music is available below if you want to learn it. It's 2 pages. I took out all of the crazy right hand movement, which you'll hear in a second here when we listen to the original, so you can get a sense of that. And I just kind of kept the bare bones, the essence of the song. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to listen through it, we're going to play it on the piano, take it apart a little bit, and pick out some of the details, and discuss a little bit of the piece's backstory as well. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit of backstory first. So Chopin's Etudes Opus 25, his collection of etudes, was published in 1837, so in the Romantic period of music. Now, what an etude is in piano literature, it's a song that is designed to train you in a special skill. So a lot of the times etudes aren't things you're going to hear at a concert performance. They're more to just they're more functional. They're just meant to build your technique and stuff like that. But Chopin's etudes are among some of the few that are the exception to that rule. They are regularly performed because not only do they build your technique, they sound super cool. So if you were learning the full difficult version of this etude, what you would be working on would be endurance, because it's a pretty long song and it's really, really, really fast. The left hand's doing big leaps, the right hand's doing quick chromatic movements, and everything is really, really loud and intense. We'll listen to it in a second so you can get a sense of that. Also, one thing you'll notice when we listen to it, there's a nice mellow, slow introduction, totally mislead you about what the song is going to do. It didn't originally exist. Chopin did not write the introduction to begin with, but a friend of his persuaded him to include an introduction, so we did. If you're familiar at all with Chopin and some of his more popular works, you probably know his Revolutionary Etude. It's Opus 10, number 12. And these 2 etudes, so Winter Wind and Revolutionary, are like twins. So Revolutionary is all fast-moving left hand, and Winter Wind is all fast-moving right hand. And they're both they require a lot of endurance, and they're both really, really intense. I actually think Winter Wind is a little bit harder because it's longer, so you just need more endurance. But anyway, we are going to take a listen to my version on the piano now. You can follow along the sheet music on the screen, and then we'll pick it apart a little bit. So let's get to that. first thing I want to do is make a list of all the terms used in this song, as well as their meanings, and I'll link this all on the blog post attached to this video. There are a lot of different articulations, dynamics, and details to pay attention to here, so definitely review this list if you're not familiar with all the terms. In addition to the terms, you have also got various symbols like this, so just something to pay attention to if you're not really sure what they are. I want to briefly discuss the rhythm in this piece because there are some slightly more challenging 16th note sections, and this is a good opportunity to go through and make sure we still know how to count. So when we count, I'm going to break this down to basics here. So if we're in 4/4 time, this song is in 4/4 time, I just don't have it written there. We count to 4, and this is a quarter note beat. So if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, you are counting in quarter notes. When you are counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, suddenly you change your underlying beat to 8th notes. So now all of a sudden you are counting 8th note beats. And then we can break that down further. If you are counting 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, you've changed your beat to 16th notes. That's getting a little tiny, but I think you get the idea. So since we have 16th notes in this song, there's little sections with them. It is best to count with a 16th note beat so you can see exactly where every single beat of the song aligns. I wouldn't do this for every bar, but I would definitely write out the rhythm for a couple tricky bars just to get the hang of it. So here we have this one beat rest, so this would be 1E and a right there. And then here we go. So we have a 16th note and a dotted 8th. So this is going to be 2E and since this is a 16th note, it gets just one, it gets the it gets 1 16th beat. And then 3 E and then 4 E and a. And this is matching up with 4 and 1. So if I was sitting at the piano by myself, what I would do is I would probably do a little bit of tapping with my left hand and my right hand. So my left hand would tap the left hand part, the right hand would tap the right hand part, and I'd do something like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. There are also some little triplets in this song. Triplets they're not too complicated to understand. Just means that instead of 2 8th notes per quarter beat, we have 3 8th notes that fit inside a quarter beat. Sometimes I find it's helpful to say words that kind of already have a triplet flow to them, like the word blueberry. So for example, you might think of this little pattern here as blueberry pie. I know it sounds kind of silly, but if this is your beat, blueberry pie. Blueberry pie. You can kind of hear how you can, if you think in words like that, you can fit those 3 triplet beats easily in one tick. A couple words of warning for this song as well, just little things to watch out for, is that the clefs jump around a lot. So basically all this means is you would read these notes as though they are left-hand notes. You're playing them with the right hand still, but you read them in the bass clef. The reason I wrote it like this, especially, you know, if you see down here, you have 2 bass clefs, is because the notes get so low. It's easier to read them like that than if I were to like say do it in the right hand and there'd be like a million ledger lines that you'd have to read. So that was just my way of simplifying it a little bit. And then you can see it jumps back to the treble clef here. And throughout the song, it's just like basically constantly hopping around. Here we have like double bass clef again. So just pay attention for that. What's interesting to me is how often this song changes keys and how strongly. So we start in the key of C major. We're kind of like doing the C major harmony in here. You can see C, E, and G in the opening notes. And then when like the real intense part of the tune begins, we are in the key of A minor. And we have these like wacky, almost jazzy sounding sections where you're moving from like a D diminished chord to an F minor chord and like some really weird changes in there. And then on the second page, we basically have a repeat of the song, but now instead of being in A minor, we are in E minor. If you're at all nerdy about like music theory and chords and stuff like that, I think you'll have fun combing through this piece and finding all of the random and interesting chord combinations that Chopin favored in this one. And that is all for today's video. If you want to learn how to play this arrangement, you can just, you know, follow the Yellow Brick Road links in the comment bar below. It's all on my blog, pianotv.net. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any other requests of tutorials you want to do, or, you know, just videos in general or anything like that, always feel free to leave that in the comments. Thank you so much, and I will catch you next time. Let's get to that. I'm broken.